over this one, you know perfectly what it is. Premises. This chapter is really important in this document because it covers the buildings, but it covers as well the system to have clean air. It explains how to make the classification of the rooms, how to qualify the air system, where we can find some other information. So um, here we can see that in there is a statement in the premises: restricted barrier restricted access barrier system RAPS or isolator are beneficial in assuring required condition and minimizing microbial contamination associated with direct human intervention in the critical zone. Any alternative approaches to use of RAPS or isolator should be identified. Does that mean that we will have to remove all our conventional filling lines uh, in our facilities? No, they will not be easily accepted for new facilities, but they will be tolerated. The point here, and we'll see a little bit later, that if we have conventional filling lines, we will have and will face more constraints on the process. We will find more constraints on the monitoring. We will face more constraints on the aseptic process simulation. At the end, we will need to see if our facilities are still efficient enough with these equipment. RAPS and isolator are surely highly encouraged to remove the staff uh, from the most critical part of the process. If we look at one facility, this is a scheme. We have here this. We can consider that this is a machine with a RAPS, but it could be as well a machine with conventional filling line. We need to have grade A air supply around the machine to be sure that even if we do not have um, laminar flow here, we will prevent contamination coming from outside of the machine into the machine. And grade B or ISO 7 will be a requirement for the surrounding of the grade A air supply. This is one point which is really important. Do we need to replace all our existing facilities if not using barrier systems? I will say at the moment, no. We can continue to use them. We will have to demonstrate to the regulators that the system is compliant. We will have to demonstrate that our system are still robust. But we will have more requirement and we will have to monitor more the particulates monitoring, bacteria monitoring, personnel monitoring, and the most important, and this will become more critical, more aseptic process simulation, and we will see that a little bit later. We can have some strategies to upgrade traditional facilities with facilities during the life of the product. Uh, there are some possibilities to put some barrier in our existing systems, and maybe we need to replace our flexible curtains, which are not very always very clean, into more rigid walls or things like that. These are some pieces which could help us, aseptic connectors, which could help us to improve the use of our existing facilities. Uh, this is something we need to consider. What is really important as well, and this is one important comment coming from the industry. We had a lot of clauses where the regulators were concerning isolator and wraps, and the clauses do not apply in the same way on isolators and wraps. And now they have divided each clause into two parts, one dedicated to isolators and one dedicated to wraps. They become, in some parts, more stringent. In the previous version, for isolators, it was the requirement was the background for isolators is at least grade D. Grade D or ISO 8 is not something which is considered by FDA. And now, if you have a closed isolator, I will show you two pictures just after. If you have a closed isolator, you can have it in a grade D area. If you have an open isolator, the requirement is becoming grade C. This is a change from the two previous draft, and this is something really critical because some companies still have grade D around their facility, around their isolators, and this make a challenge. For the wraps, it's a minimum of grade B. A closed isolator is positive pressure, ISO 5, and it's completely closed. If you have a mouse hole to allow the product to exit from the isolator, then it is considered as an open isolator, and then around this, you will need to have a uh, grade C uh, environment. Decontamination. This is as well something which is really critical and in our processes, and this is related as well to aseptic process simulation, we need to have a real good process. And decontamination is starting by a cleaning process before the biodecontamination, and this cleaning process is essential. And this is something which is quite a new clarification, new definition from this Annex 1. Now, considering the clean rooms requalification. Here, underlined in yellow, the maximum time interval for requalification of grade A and B areas is 6 months. That means that we need to check our grade A and B every 6 months. The maximum time interval for requalification in C and D is 12 months. This is based as well on quality risk management. If with your experience, your results, your trends, you identify that you need to have a shorter period of time, you will need to implement a shorter period of time. But as 6 months is the minimum, you can it's the maximum. You cannot extend 6 months to 8 or 9 if you have good results. Now we can consider as well for the air velocity in this document. This is still a point of discussion. Industry has required not having a lot of how can I say that? Not having guidance values, and regulators maintain their guidance values, which is 0.45 meter per second plus minus 20%. This is a guidance value. And they say that they want this value is made at the workplace of the equipment. Generally, industry take the measures in this part 30 centimeters below the filter to have the right information. If we have 0.45 meter per second at the workplace, then we could increase the turbulence and we will not have a unidirectional flow. So this has to be made and justified with design, pictures, videos, and assess based on quality risk management. The point which is really critical is to have above the most critical part, which is the filling part, first air incoming above the equipment. That means that you do not have, it's better not having gloves moving above the most critical process part. Equipment, there is statement that for aseptic processes, direct and indirect product contact parts should be sterilized. That means that such equipment inside isolators need to be sterilized. At the moment, a high number of isolators are not designed in such a way. This makes the things a little bit more complicated. So you will have to reconsider the things based on the risk assessment, see how once you have sterilized